over the last few weeks, there have been 3 churches in a single parish of Louisiana. Parish is analogous to counties in other states. 3 African American historic black churches that have been burned down just in the last few weeks. The churches are all historic, all over 100 years old. And we'll put a couple of pictures on the screen. As you can see, the churches were burned to the ground. Now, there was a 4th church that was in another parish, a Louisiana parish. It was about 200 miles away. And that particular church, they don't know if that one is connected to these 3, but the 3 that have been connected in the same county, they have all, or the 3 that have burned down in the same parish, they are believed to be connected and a possible hate crime. It's something that 2 things that are happening at the same time in my mind, which is why I'm hesitating, are it's 2 things that there seems to be a trend of historically of attacking the black community, of racism and hate crimes happening in the black community, targeting African-American churches because of just the historic nature of the role that black churches have played. Black churches generally have been historically, it may not be the case now, but particularly during the civil rights movement, they were the cornerstone of the civil rights movement. They were the hotbed of radicalism in the black community. If there was a fight to be had, you often can find some of the biggest fighters coming from the church. Obviously, the first one that comes to mind for most everyone is Dr. King. And so it has always seemed historically the bombing that killed 4 little black girls during the civil rights movement, the bombing of a church. Even recently, we saw Mother Emanuel AME being targeted by Dylan Roof, killing 9 parishioners of that church. It just, the reason this sets off so many alarms is because historically, white supremacists and white nationalists have targeted the black church. And so with 4 churches burning down in Louisiana, 3 of them burning down in a single parish, it's believed that this is a hate crime. That's first, but you also have to look at the other side of this, the general uptick in white supremacist right-wing violence in this country. We've seen an uptick since the election of Donald Trump. There's just no question. There's tangible data, evidence to show that the rise of white nationalism and white supremacist violence in this country coincided with, or the resurgence, not the rise. Let me correct myself. The resurgence in white supremacist violence in this country coincided with the election of Donald Trump. And it should be no surprise. We see that conservatism in this country has time and again been the excuse and the intellectual veneer that's placed on top of hate, that's placed on top of white supremacy, that's placed on top of policies that we see that are trying to be implemented at the border even now. And so there's a direct line connecting all of these things. The type of hate that we're seeing, the type of violence that we're seeing in this Louisiana parish, burning down of historic black churches, the burning down of historic black churches, being connected and tied to actions of this administration that absolutely the language, you cannot sever the language of Donald Trump from the uptick in right-wing white nationalist violence in this country.